Welcome. Hello from YouTube if you're watching from YouTube, and hello on Twitch if you are currently watching on Twitch. I don't think anybody is, because as of the time I'm recording, it's like a Tuesday night, and I don't really think anybody's around. I didn't really announce this except like 5 minutes ahead of time. But anyway, we have a replay here that was sent to me by Masque of the Red Death, who I'm debating between calling just Masque or Mord for Masque of Red Death. I don't really know. I don't know what negative. One of them, because this name is way too long to say in combat. Masque of the Red Death is moving out with a base runner. So, this is from Masque of the Red Death, who just said, I think you might like this. So we're going to find out. I'm sure I will. And Masque's opponent is, or excuse me, Masque's ally is Yellhead, which is a lot easier to say all at once. But there you have it, Yellhead, or just Yell. YH doesn't really roll off the tongue. Anyway, both of these players are coalition, so we've got a coalition team, and their opponents are Rewerend, or Reverend as I've heard him called by Dreamlands. I'm not really sure. We'll go with Rev. That'll be easy. In the Soban carrier here, and his ally CheetahsNeverWin in the Khaaneph carrier. Now, I have played with and against all of these players except for CheetahsNeverWin. So I'm going to be really interested to see what CheetahsNeverWin brings to the table. That's quite a name. We're going to see immediately that CheetahsNeverWin is going to shoot down a probe that came from, I believe, Masque or Mord. I think Masque is better. We'll just go with Masque. But you know what? You can tell me what you really want to be called, because your full name is just too long. I'm sorry. It's ruled out. So this is neat. Right away, both carriers from the, well, we'll call it, I guess, the DLC team, right? Because we have the Khaaneph and the Soban. Both carriers from the DLC team are moving out, and they're not moving necessarily to their resource expansions. We have Rev's carrier here attacking the base runner of Yellhead. So that's going to really seriously deny this artifact point. And, you know, the LEVs will do the same thing. But frankly, these two LEVs can take out this base runner. So this carrier is a little bit overkill, especially given that it's a Soban carrier and these railguns don't do a whole lot of damage. The Soban carrier has pretty weak defenses, so this is a very interesting strategy to see. I think this artifact is going to be picked up, and Yellhead is just going to lose it right after picking it up, but at least that will deny the artifact from the DLC team. However, Masque is going to go ahead and pick up a nearby artifact. So this is interesting. It looks like CheetahsNeverWin has stuck his carrier right by the extraction here at his second expansion. So not going quite as aggressively as Rev is here. Rev? I'm not really sure. Tell me in the comments. So AAVs here from Yellhead are going to nicely push away the AAVs here. But likewise, the Soban carrier actually is going to be doing a pretty good job against these AAVs and keep them back. So there's a bit of a stalemate here, and I like that. It's pretty cool to see. Even though we've got the graphical glitches here with Rev's carrier. What's interesting is I would have expected if somebody was going to send a carrier forward, it would have been CheetahsNeverWin, but CheetahsNeverWin is going for like a hard eco opening with production cruiser refinery mode and already 2 production cruisers. Let's roll out. Meanwhile, Rev has just a support cruiser back home and is being the aggressive one. Building LAVs, moving the carrier out forward. Want to check carrier power. Power Reserve 2 coming out, so we might even see some microwave emitter this game. This is crazy! Who goes forward with a Soban carrier? Nobody I know, except that I know Rewerend, so. Nice stab here from Yellhead, and I'd love to see these AAVs just go right where they're currently planning to go, right through, beyond the carrier, into the resources, maybe even beyond and into the other production cruiser, and just trash the economy here. Likewise, there's some economy trashing from the Soban carrier here from Rewerend. And these salvagers from Yellhead will go down, so... A lot of economic trading here, and it's interesting that the trading is happening, like, really cross-map. These players are not adjacent to each other. Yellhead and CheetahsNeverWin are basically on opposite sides. Nice cruise missile there. It was a little off, but just close enough for the AoE splash to take out that AAV. But now this AAV is in and among the salvagers, and there's nothing to stop them here. Nothing at all. So that AAV, we're going to watch that. Meanwhile, his carrier isn't going to be stopped by AAVs either. And there are AAVs of Rewerend here as well now, trashing the salvagers of Yellhead. So really crazy game so far. Wow! Okay, never mind. These salvagers just backed off. So one salvager dead, maybe a sand skimmer dead or so, and a railgun finally coming out there. But that makes sense. I had forgotten that the Khaaneph carrier was there to defend. So that's fine. And now Rewerend's carrier is going to be threatened by railguns from Masque. So Masque of the Red Death, there you go. See, I can use the full name in combat, is going to pop out a bunch of railguns real fast, and this is really dangerous for Rewerend. He's, making the right decision there and bugging out. Meanwhile, Masque's carrier coming to reinforce the defenses here, but this is still just a huge mess. Look at these AAVs. Some of them have veterancy, no armor upgrades on them. But these are just doing a whole lot of damage to this resourcing operation. The support crews are now taking some damage. And sand skimmers coming in. Excuse me, not sand skimmers, LAVs. This is just so messy, and this is the kind of position you never want to be in as a team, with both of your carriers like just dueling it out, trying to stop a bunch of AAVs. It means you're not resourcing efficiently. Now, Masque here at least has a couple support cruisers out, but Yellhead just has one support cruiser, and that support cruiser is now even displaced from her main resourcing pocket. So this is not really looking good for the Masque and Yellhead team. Meanwhile, this turret nicely going to be taken out by CheetahsNeverWin's carrier. This was a nice turret location. Actually, very well placed turret. One of the better placed turrets that I've ever seen. Unfortunately, it was placed near a Khaaneph player, and Khaaneph carriers are just astoundingly good at taking out turrets. They can do it from range without really any upgrades.
Base runner in service. Alert. Support trap has been engaged.
We've been seeing a lot of these armed logistics modules coming out from Rewerend, which makes sense given that he's got his carrier on the front line. But I want to sort of pay attention to the units lost tab here, because Rewerend is probably bleeding a lot of CUs. And we can see Rewerend leading the CUs lost count here, probably because a lot of those... Oh wow, I don't want to miss this. But I was going to say, because a lot of those ALMs have gone down because they've been deployed right onto the front lines. This is a risky situation. The Khaaneph carrier here is doing a lot of damage to these railguns, but this is enough railguns to totally threaten a Khaaneph carrier. So if these railguns were to pop over onto this dune here, or just to move around and not sit here, they could probably alpha down this Khaaneph carrier. But at the same time, this Khaaneph carrier can maybe kill all these railguns. It really just depends on where they position these units. Both of them have a lot to lose and a lot to gain here. Those railguns are not going to quite take out this base runner, but they are going to clear up a targeting jammer here. I think really the AAV should be clearing up the targeting jammer here, and these railguns have precious little time to live given all the missiles that are coming out. These are Masque's railguns, and Masque is losing a lot of them. They have a high ground bonus, and they're able to do a lot of damage here, but so many have been lost. There's a nice backstab coming in here, but I want to make sure I see this fight through. It looks like all the railguns will go down now, except for this one here. And that's not quite going to go down. The missiles are going to focus on these clumped up units that are being stunned by an ALM. This is some amazing teamwork going on here. I don't know if it's intentional, but these units just being stuck there while Khaaneph missiles pummel them. Now, over here, we do see a backstab from Yellhead. It's not even so much as a backstab as like a punch in the face. Rewerend support cruiser is going to go down. I think maybe a salvager went down as well. And under the cover of this, Masque of the Red Death is going to pick up an artifact that's right by Rewerend's carrier. So, again, really nice teamwork. This time from the other side.
Be advised, team en route to recover the artifact. Get a turret up. Tracking armored craft on
Amazing.
en route.
This game is all over the place. There's a ton of railguns here. And you know, the only thing that we're not really seeing at this point is air, which is really interesting. There are a lot of turrets, there are a lot of railguns, there are a lot of these stationary, I mean, there's blast drones, but there's stationary targets like ALMs out on the field. And the one thing that, oh, here we go. The one thing that can ignore all of that is air. So here are Coalition strike fighters from the Soban player. And they are going to attack what are now railguns from Yellhead, and I'm so worried about these railguns right here. These are so bunched up. Masque is going to move them and spread them apart a little bit, but still very bunched up and vulnerable to strike fighters. Now, it looks like these fighters came out before they were massed. There are just 3 fighters that were deployed.
Armored assault online. Carrier copies.
So now everybody knows about it, and what are we going to see as the response? Masque is going to research missile battery fabrication. It looks like missile battery fab has been researched already by Yellhead. And Yellhead also has a wing of strike fighters as well, matching Rewerend's. So,
Hostile forces are attempting to extract an artifact.
we're going to see an air battle, but it's not looking like it's going to be all that intense. We're going to see missile batteries on the field as well, and we already see missile batteries on the field from CheetahsNeverWin.
Be advised, team en route to recover the artifact.
2 targeting jammers. You never see this. You never see 2 targeting jammers together like that. I don't think those actually accomplished anything right there. You can see the shadows of strike fighters coming now as they're going to take out Yellhead's AAVs, or at least try to. I don't know that there's enough here to take them all out.
Underway. Allied craft lost.
I will say Masque was absolutely correct. I am very much enjoying this game so far. There's a lot of action going on. It's quite hard to keep track of. And I hope that I'm giving you all of the right camera views here. I think I'm even lagging a little bit while that happens. I apologize for that. Need to do some upgrades. But missile batteries now are going to be attacking Rewerend strike fighters as they move out across the field. Maybe it's just 1, but there's also a huge force of railguns and AAVs both that are going to screen. These AAVs are hopefully going to screen for these railguns here, and a lot of missile batteries now coming out. So aircraft are kind of out. This Khaaneph carrier is way up front, and it has some power, but not a huge amount. It's getting power reserve 4, so that's going to help. But these railguns are looking like they're in a really good position if they would just move in to be able to threaten this Khaaneph carrier. Meanwhile, it looks like the attacks have kind of cleaned up and mostly stabilized, and so we've got massed units here from CheetahsNeverWin. Some heavy railguns, but really not all that many. And then a whole lot of units here getting ready to assault CheetahsNeverWin, and this carrier is in a ton of trouble here. It can maybe move away and get out of the range of these railguns and then force them to move into the valley, but look at just how much damage is being done to this carrier. I think this carrier will go down. It's so close, and you hear airstrikes. I wonder if that's going to be coming from the Coalition team. You can see missiles here doing a lot of damage, and now the railguns are out of range. They have to move and get in there, and honestly, even if they all die, it's worth it to take out a carrier. It looks like the fighters were not from the Coalition team, so those aren't going to be able to finish off this carrier, and it's really all up to whether these railguns can get in fast enough. It doesn't look like Masque has prioritized that. Hey, Empty, yeah, you're absolutely right. Missile turrets can be pretty cost effective. In this game, I don't know if that's really the truth, though, because there are just so many backstabs and little incursions happening all the time everywhere. And now that there's aircraft out in the field, the mobile missile batteries really might be what we want in order to project force, but it's definitely a valid choice. Hard to catch all the action here, but we do see Rewerend has railguns out. Not particularly masked, though. And this carrier's still safe. Unbelievable.
Alert. Railgun
Masque is being so cautious with these railguns, now engaging with heavy railguns from CheetahsNeverWin. Oh gosh, and I really apologize for all the lag that I hope that you're not seeing. I'm certainly feeling a lot of lag here. These railguns now sitting here are gonna be whittled down by CheetahsNeverWin's missile barrages again. Yellowhead's following up with some railguns, but it's just not really enough.
Light attack vehicle online.
They might threaten the resourcing here. What's interesting is that there were railguns here that could have just destroyed this production cruiser.
Target set. Launch. Green line confirmed.
Light attack vehicle in service.
Instead, they were targeting resources for a while. So, these units should clean up all of the Coalition team's railguns, and this is not good for the Coalition team. Team DLC is doing a great job at cleaning up all these attacks, and it might be that Rewerend's aircraft are getting massed enough now to really make a difference. Battlecruiser fabrication coming in for Rewerend, and we have siege cruiser fabrication out for CheetahsNeverWin. We can see the siege cruisers here now. Yeah, I think there was line of fire for those railguns on the production cruiser. It's just that they were targeting salvagers, they were targeting other units. This is nasty. Ugh. Looks like artillery-friendly fire here from Masque of the Red Death as some enemy units were coming in, or maybe just a misplaced barrage. So Team DLC looking very strong now. We're seeing LAVs from Team Coalition coming in, and they're going to be fighting all of the units that really are good at killing LAVs. Assault railguns and siege cruisers are the natural enemies of LAVs. However, what can I say about Team Coalition? How are they looking? They have a reasonably solid economy, but so does Team DLC. They have anti-air out, but so does Team DLC, actually. Yeah, Team DLC has anti-air turrets. Team Coalition has mass, and that's the thing, is that, especially with the Khaaneph player here, Team Coalition seems to have a much better ability to just remass up after a fight, even though they keep throwing away units like this. There's really no excuse for LAVs to be in here like that against those counters. But, you know, here's 12 railguns. They can do something. Now there are 2 LAVs that are going to somehow threaten all 12 of these railguns, which is a little bit ridiculous. Maybe we'll see a mortar here. Maybe not. Lots more massed railguns back here too. And there are enough aircraft here from Yellowhead's carrier alone to threaten Rewerend's Air Force. And I don't believe there's any Air Force from the Khaaneph carrier either. Oh, there is. Okay. That's dangerous then. Well, in any case, this is kind of blocked off due to the anti-air cover. But there are enough railguns here. I mean, come on. You've got 11 railguns there, 11 railguns there. You've got AAV cover, you've got missile battery cover. Take these railguns and just blow up some siege cruisers. They'll go down so fast. Sinistro, hey, yeah, this is a 2v2 that Masque of the Red Death provided to me and just said, thought you might enjoy this. And I am enjoying it so far. In the beginning of the match, it was just a lot of backstabs, lots of engagement scattered all throughout the map, and now what we see a lot of is, I think, Team DLC, which is Rewerend and CheetahsNeverWin. Is it lie? Die? Something like that. Are really winning a lot more battles, but they seem to be being outproduced by Team Coalition. So here's CheetahsNeverWin in the Khaaneph carrier. Again, I apologize for the lag if you're seeing it. I am, and I don't know if you are. Oh my gosh, look at all these AAVs! There are so many units here! Just go! Don't sit here! You are losing all of your units to immobility, and you're just waiting while all the siege cruisers are firing at you. You're Coalition. Coalition are, believe it or not, the faction that you want to just run in and punch the enemy face with. You do not want to be like dancing around hit and run like Galcian. This is deadly. Battlecruisers now coming in to threaten Yellowhead's carrier. Meanwhile, oh my gosh, all of these units going down to the combined siege cruiser and carrier assault. Notice the split fire here. Probably enough damage here to take out a siege cruiser if only it was focused. And now this army over here pretty much decimated. The railguns from Masque of the Red Death are coming in now, but they weren't there with the main force, and the railguns just never found their targets. Really too bad. I think with the railguns combined, they could have just taken out the Khaaneph carrier once and for all. Now there's really not much that can be done here. Hiding behind this dune, not a good way to approach artillery. You want to be able to fire upon them. I'm going to just switch over here to see what's happening with these battle cruisers being threatened by aircraft. That's going to be something for the coalition team. But there are so many units being lost over here, and oh, they're just sitting here doing nothing. Oh, that is super painful to watch.
Proceed with decommission. Vehicle returning for decommission.
At the very least, there's some artillery here, and that's at least threatening this siege cruiser. But there were so many railguns that died there for nothing. Yellowhead's carrier retreating, although healthy, from these battlecruisers, and a couple battlecruisers pretty wounded, and a lot of siege cruisers wounded, but these siege cruisers are just going to repair. Yeah, Soban battlecruisers we don't see all that often, so it's pretty cool to see. Taking out railguns from afar, and that's honestly the right unit choice here. But a couple things I've noticed. Team Coalition doesn't see... Oh, no. Uh-oh. This is a microwave emitter.
Alert. Carrier is taking fire.
It's not going to catch the artillery cruiser.
Armored vehicle.
And it's not actually going to do all that much.
Hostile allied craft.
As long as these units stay out. Stay out. No!
Hostile armor eliminated.
Okay, I think we're good.
Carrier repair systems online.
Enemy contacts on the board. Alert. Hostile strike fighter in circulation. Alert. Allied carrier taking hostile fire. Armored vehicle is taking fire. Allied craft has been engaged. Provide fire support. Allied craft destroyed.
So I was going to say, before that microwave emitter came out, the artillery from Team Coalition seems a little misused. There was a lot of friendly fire happening, and the artillery was just not denying area well enough. I think bringing the artillery more forward would help a lot. Oh, but now these units... This is such a vulnerable unit! Just railguns. Yeah, you had railguns. Well, okay. Well, there are 4 railguns. 4 railguns would destroy this siege cruiser if well positioned. Unfortunately, positioning seems to be very difficult for Team Coalition, and Cheetahs never win. Is it never win? Yeah, Cheetahs never win. Sorry, it wasn't Cheetahs never lie. Cheetahs can lie, but they never win. So how's this? If Team DLC wins, then we're gonna rename Team Coalition to Team Cheetahs. if that's not too mean. Yeah, they seem to just kind of have thought, well, we can't beat the Khaaneph players, so ignore them. Now, there are 4 artillery cruisers here. 4 artillery cruisers can do a huge amount of damage to a Khaaneph carrier. I posted a game just recently where 4 artillery cruisers, or 4 siege cruisers, maybe even 3 siege cruisers, took out a Khaaneph carrier. You can absolutely take out this carrier right now with, you know, a couple railguns and... Oh, not this! No! No! Run! Run away! Oh, no! Great microwave emitter from Rewerend, going to do a ton of damage to these artillery cruisers. And that's going to really hurt their ability to do much against this coalition carrier. It's still so vulnerable, though, and with missile batteries protecting the artillery cruisers, there might be a shot here, especially if... Let's check the resources. Well, Cheetahs Never Win has all the resources. But Team Coalition has enough to build a few railguns. Oh, and here come. That's so disgusting. Okay, the artillery cruisers are gone. There are railguns here, though. You guys keep building railguns, and that's so good, but you have to use them. And I really do think it's a slow GG here, and I think it has been ever since the fights over here that were just lost. CheetahsNeverWin has so many resources now, and the economy of, well, the economy of Masque is gone. There just isn't one. The economy of Yellhead is weakened. And now the carrier of Masque is going down. No real power and armor, and there are AAVs. AAVs aren't going to do anything here. Railguns would do something. But yes, this carrier is going to die. Yellhead, you have railguns. Railguns kill Khaaneph carriers. They kill siege cruisers. If you move them like right here, and then just keep running away and maintain vision, you can destroy this carrier. This is the strength of the DLC team right now. The thing with the Khaaneph carrier that is different from all the other carriers, well, not all the other ones. The thing about the Khaaneph carrier is that it neither has armor nor the ability to power up armor, whereas the Galcian carrier, even though it has a regen ability and not an armor ability, at least has a lot of armor. The Khaaneph carrier is paper thin and only has a regen ability. So Sinistra, what's interesting is, in general, I think Team Coalition did quite well from a macro play perspective in the early game. In the early game, Team Coalition was all over Team DLC and did a pretty good job stabbing and maneuvering and not getting boxed in, despite a lot of attacks coming from Team DLC. Some artifact wars happening here, but really the artifact count is nowhere near enough to matter. But yeah, there's the thing that Team Coalition needs to practice and get a lot better at is tactical positioning of units and choosing what targets to fire at. These railguns, they've built so many railguns. Team Coalition built a ton of railguns, and they were just not positioned well. They have some upgrades, so the railguns really have no excuse for being ineffective. They just, they weren't used well. Yeah, it's focus fire, but it's also positioning your units so that they can fire and choosing the targets well, knowing when to clean up enemies' railguns as opposed to just blasting down the Khaaneph carrier. There was a time where the Khaaneph carrier almost got blasted down, but the railguns from Masque of the Red Death simply sat there and didn't finish the job. And it's tough when that happens, but Masque also could have been way more aggressive in moving the railguns up. So this is pretty much over. Yellhead is on the run, resourcing, just barely reestablished and now going to be shoved away again. And this carrier is going to go down. There are a significant number of aircraft here that I haven't really seen Yellhead using. So I wonder if perhaps they were just forgotten about. And that might be kind of a map awareness or really game awareness sort of thing. But in any case, very interesting game. I'm sorry to see Team Coalition go down here. They were sort of my favorites in this matchup. Probably just because it was a Team Coalition player who provided me with the replay. But very well played by Team DLC. Very interesting early game, and the latter half of the game really looked pretty different. It stopped being that kind of constant backstabbing across the artifact boundary. Really, people weren't paying attention to artifacts early at all. There was a lot of just stabbing at resources on both sides. In one case, Yellhead even going deep into CheetahsNeverWin's territory, being on the exact opposite side of the map. So that was really interesting. Later in the game, well, we know what happened there. So thank you for the replay, Masque, and I hope that you have better luck next time with your railguns.